Yo, what's up everyone? This is Braggy, bringing you another episode of Pavement Chronicles. Today, we're in New York City to link up with Raja and CJ from Scotch Bonnet Motorsports. Raja, can you tell us about Scotch Bonnet Motorsports?
Scotch Bonnet Motorsports is a movement of sorts. It's a family of guys that have gotten together to rebuild cars, predominantly German cars, but if we like it, we like it. It could be a JDM, it could be an American car, it could be a German car, and we support each other. So Scotch Bonnet, because it started with me, it ties back to my name, it ties back to Jamaica with the pepper, Scotch Bonnet peppers, and it also ties back to the hood, being a bonnet. So that's where we get the name Scotch Bonnet and then Motorsports from.
Okay, all right, so tell me a little bit of how you got started in cars. You know, what was your deciding factor? What was the beginning?
The beginning for me was going back to the 70s. I had an older cousin, and his group of friends had E10s or 2002s and the Capris that were manufactured in Germany, the 72 to 74. So you had the shorty, and then you had the hatchbacks with the pig cheeks and everything else. So if it was not a BMW 2002, it would have been a Ford Capri. So if you go to my Instagram page, I'll make reference to that, and I am very supportive of the 2002 and of the Ford Capri because of that, because of those early years. When I wanted to do a car, whichever one I found first, that's the one it was going to be. And unfortunately for me, it was BMW, because they have many more models and many more opportunities for you to put your money in anything other than a bank account or to a woman or into gambling or anything else. When BMW is your vice, you have many models to get into. For me, it was the coupes. So I try to keep it to the older cars. I have a couple E9s, an E10. I've always loved the E24s, the Sharks, the 6 Series, which the E9 is the grandfather to. I also have great respect for the E31s, the 8 Series, the Z3 hardtop, or what we commonly refer to as the clown shoe in the BMW community. So if I were to behave myself, I will just focus on coupes and the BMW family, but I also have a 7 Series that I'm doing an Alpina tribute to and trying to decide if I want to convert it to a manual. I believe you had taken some photos of that one, or just leave it as is so I could sit in traffic in New York City and not go crazy shifting gears.
Okay, so what was one of your first memorable, like your first car?
Some of my memorable past cars. So my first car was a JDM. It was an Isuzu Impulse. Along the JDM lines, I had a Honda Accord 4-door. That was on 17s and had the 3-stage pearl paint job back in the 90s before everyone else was really doing it and people were still on 15-inch hammers. I love that one because in Queens, we always say, you know, you get a fade, you get some music, you get your sneakers, and you're good. You get your little blends tape, or you know, you go on the Ave and you get your Stone Love or your little Afrique or your Gyro Sound Clash, and then you just bubble. You just drive and you turn up your music and you're chilling. You just bump. That's it. So those are my memories with cars. You know, if you're a car person, you're a car person in New York City. You gotta have your music, you know, you gotta be dipped. I remember driving by Q Club or driving by the vans, and my folks are in Clarendon. So before my grandmother would go to church or on her way back, I would have her pick up the latest Sound Clash and send it back. And she didn't know she wasn't doing the Lord's work when she was sending me back my Sound Clash. But all the van drivers, I would taunt them and slow up, and I would bump the latest Sound Clash, and everybody would want to listen to it. But it was fun. So favorite cars would be early on, would be those JDMs. The Impulse, I had a 04 G35 6MT that unfortunately, I'm not proud to admit, I used to drift it. If you're familiar with New York City, heading into the Jackie Robinson Parkway, now It used to be called the Interborough, and would one line the highway. Yeah.
Tell us about these cars now, the current cars that are behind us.
The cars behind us right now is a 1976 BMW 2002 behind CJ. And then behind me is a 1973 BMW 3.0 CS, otherwise known as an E9. Both are heavily modified. The engines are naturally aspirated. I didn't want to do swaps. I wanted to keep it period correct. The 02 is built for bottom end speed. It has 10.5:1 compression, strict 292 cam, dual 40 Weber carburetors, Bavarian auto headers, a overdrive 5-speed from an E21 or 320, known in BMW circles. It Recaros out of a 321. I laugh with friends and I say E21s and E28s, which are 5 Series, start up like Michael Knight's kit and drive away from me because I stripped so many of them. I don't know how I'm still allowed in the BMW circle, but a lot of us from this era, you know, cars that people are holding on to now, we didn't see them as special. So we just took parts proudly. My other E9 is also a 73, and that has a power plant from a 535i. And so that one is not carbureted. That's the only car I have outside of the 7 Series that is not carbureted, but that has an overdrive 5-speed. The 73 E9 behind me was built by Eric Kerman, a known engine builder in New York, Long Island, and in Connecticut for Lime Rock Park especially. It is also 10.5:1 compression. It is a triple carbureted engine, also 40/40s. Dogleg 5-speed. Trying to think of some of the special pieces of stall header. It's a beast. So whereas this one was built for bottom end, this engine is stroked. I think the best person to speak about the experience of driving in both would be CJ. This particular instance, we drove 2 car shows last week with Bragi, one to Newark and another one to Wheels of New York in Brooklyn. And the guys got to tease me about driving as if it was a video game because the roads were open enough to drive as if you're an enthusiast. So, CJ.
Have some fun.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, both cars are very fun. That's one. 2, one's a bit smaller and lighter, so it was a bit more fun to drive or to be driven in the E10, right? But the E9 has my heart because of the engine, which is the M30. I'm also E28 fan. I have an E28, so to be able to have the opportunity to be in the E9.
I'm not allowed in his backyard, people, because he's afraid I'm gonna teeth parts off of his car. He has a nice car. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, so the E9 is where I would say, yeah, it's the more fun because top end is better off for the roads of New York, basically. But I gotta give it to the E10 as well. Down low, really fun, very fast. I was very surprised for a little 4-cylinder that's not really that modified as like the Hondas with the other forced induction and all, but yeah, the E9 is where it's really fun.
So CJ is part of the Scotch Bonnet family. He happens to be Jamaican, but Scotch Bonnet is represented by the crew, many Jamaicans, some Italians, Irish, some Haitian brethren, St. Lucia, Guadalupe, you know, we run deep, man, and that's why I say family. You see the lift behind us. There are many times where I get the phone call and it's, Raj, take out the cars because I have something to do. And that's what it's supposed to be. That's what any club is supposed to be. Many people think that we're doing cars here, or we could design or we could build any car for anyone, but we mainly work on our own things. No one touches my cars, period. Every one of my cars here has been ground up by us. Restoration. I sandblasted this one myself, put on my suit, went into my boy's shop and went for it. Engines, of course, are sent out to machine shops, but that's something where even with CJ, who is a diesel mechanic and does his own work, you know, we like to do our own things. That's the only way to take total control My upholsterer is from Trinidad. Shout out to Vintage Upholstery and Don Raj. He teases me all the time, and it's oh God anytime I walk into the shop because he knows I'm very specific. You've seen my interiors. The two E9s best represent the kind of work we do, and those are 20-year-old designs. I've done a couple American cars for friends, and you see some things that Singer is doing now before Singer did it with their Porsches, with the braided leather interiors. So again, it's to have fun. I think if it's your car, you do what you want to do. You express yourself. If it's a car that is rare, then you behave yourself, and you have to be a steward. You have to respect it. But I love to take mashup cars or things that people don't believe in and bring them to life. It's like if you take a girl that looks mashup or overweight or something, or is too slim or whatever your taste is, and you believe in her and she believes in you, and it comes to life. I hate to use the analogy of a woman, but for many guys, that's what a car is. It's an expression of your passion, and you put your time into it. You don't run the street, you run your car. And the money that a lot of people, waste in clubs and bars, let me not say waste, everyone has their own vice because we all go out and we have a little fun. But for us, it just goes into the cars.
So where can we follow you guys on social media?
Well, Scotch Bonnet Motorsports, like the pepper, 2 N's, 1 T. Motorsports, all one word, Scotch Bonnet Motorsports. That's on Instagram. That's the only place where you will find the page. I tag all of our photographers, I tag all of our partners. If there are any vendors that are working on any of our cars, right now Classic Car Rescue on Long Island was doing a complete overhaul of the other E9. The tire was off by 1/2 inch. So we took down one fender, and we noticed that at one point in its life, the car was hit. And we don't put lipstick on pigs. So he tore apart the whole front of the car. It was ready to be debuted, and it just went back into the shop after 20 years. And so if there's anybody who is partnering with us, if there's any work that's being done, if there's any questions you have about a vendor that we've used, reach out to us. We're not selfish. We learned, and we got links through other folks for one-off products that we put into our vehicles, and we just try to share the car culture. I've never entered my car into a show to be judged. I couldn't care less about a trophy. I care when I see a father come with his daughter, or a mother and a son, or people come.
It's about building generations, So
that's it.
It's not about the hype or the fame or whatever.
Nah, you get the fame because people will see the car and it'll get notoriety. There's nothing really special about my cars. When you see them, you see that they're maintained and they're clean. I see much more exciting builds, but we just try to be consistent. There are no garage queens here. Everything is driven, and when it gets out, it'll surprise you. This one is called Anakin. The key chain has Darth Vader on it. It looks very polite, but it has a very nasty disposition underneath the hood. This car is called Asher, the 73 Polaris E9. After Gordon Gekko from Wall Street. I used to work on a board, or volunteer on a board with the gentleman who that character was named after. So it was named after him. It looks like a clean suit when you have on your brown shoes and your gray suit. The E32 is named Anchor. The Buick Riviera, the 1963 that we recently sold, that one was named after my grandfather. It was called the Deacon, because 1963 in the United States was the March on Washington, and then when it was finished, it was the same year that Obama ran for office. So for different reasons, we had given it that name, and it was the only car he really cared for. He was a GMC Chevy guy. I bought a Ford Mustang one year, and he asked me why. Like, he was gravely disappointed. The other E9, the Malaga one, is called OWM, and that's short for 1 week a month, because it was very temperamental. Every time something was finished, something else would crop up. That was my personal Christine. OWM is short for 1 week a month. I'm just gonna leave that there, and you can fill in the blanks on that one's name. But it's fun. You know, we go out, we go to our shows, we have our little fun. And I've just recently started to document the process within the last 2 years, and it's a pleasure to host you, Stephen, or AKA Bragi JA, because we link up online, and I know car culture in Jamaica is a different thing. We really don't let people into our homes or into our garages for obvious reasons, but when you're out and about, you know, I remember years ago I met Dick Stewart from Stewart Motor Cars when they had BMW. And we bonded over the 2002, and we were hanging out a little bit with the family. And it could be dogs, it could be guns, it could be cars, whatever it is. It's about building community and building family. And thank you for what you're doing. You know, now you're going throughout the Caribbean diaspora in the United States and abroad, and showcasing what we're doing. And it's Jamaica and beyond, because when we're here, it's really a Caribbean community. You know, you'll hear a sound clash in the background. The brethren that's doing it is from Nevis and St. Kitts, and it's pure Rory and Weepo, you know what I mean? So we try to have our fun.